welcome to Sweet Yin. If you've never practiced a Yin yoga class before, it's characterized by long static holds to really target the deep connective tissues in our body. So ignoring the muscles and going right into our fascia, our joints, our ligaments and tendons, because all of our tissues need a healthy amount of stress. And Yin yoga is also really good as a balance for some of your more yang-like exercises. So if you want to improve in your vinyasa, ashtanga, or even in your gym workouts, Yin yoga is a really great complement to your other physical activities that you're doing. All you really need for this practice is a comfortable change of clothes, 2 blocks and a blanket if you have it. If you don't have the blocks, you can just use your blanket or maybe even a towel and just roll it up to make a makeshift block. We're gonna start with a grounding exercise and then we'll get right into the poses. So find yourself in a tall, comfortable seat, cross-legged or kneeling. You can begin to soften your gaze or completely close your eyes. Whatever serves you today. You can let the hands fall on your lap. Begin to inhale through your nose and sigh out your mouth. Just noticing the natural rhythms of your breath cycle. Beginning to tune in to the sound vibrations all around you. Maybe noticing little noises outside, or just feeling the complete stillness in this room, in this container that you've created. Today's practice is really all about you. You get to choose. You're in the driver's seat. Yin yoga is not about the aesthetics really. It's really focused on the function. And so how you're feeling, what we're really targeting in this pose, what we're working in this pose. A few more purifying breaths to get you ready for a gentle but still sensational practice. You can begin to open your eyes if you have them closed. You're going to come to the top of your mat, feet hip-width distance apart. Reach your arms up overhead, and as you exhale, you're just going to bow forward. Bring the arms, maybe swing them a little bit back behind you. And just let the chest fall, arms fall down the sides. Let the neck rest, let it hang. Grab onto opposite elbows. We're gonna be here for a while. You can begin to close your eyes again. And you can close your eyes throughout practice anytime that you'd like. A soft bend in your knees. So in Yin yoga, we've given new names to the poses that we know and love so well. Dangling is what we call standing forward fold in Yin. And it's because, we're not really trying to fold over. We're really just dangling here. You can move back and forth, shifting the weight from your toes to your heels, or just stay still. You might start to feel some burning sensations, some warmth. Maybe in your quads, maybe in your hip sockets. Get a few more breaths here. Inhale, slowly roll up. One vertebrae at a time. Come onto your knees, and we're gonna take a quick child's pose. So you can sit back onto your heels. You can turn out the knees or bring them together. Just begin to fold forward again. Forehead rests on the mat. You can extend the arms forward, slightly bend your elbows. So a yin yoga, it's not much talking or guidance from the teacher as well. If I'm talking, it's to sort of distract you from counting down the minutes in each pose that we hold. But it's a great practice to start to befriend your body in a different style and a different practice. You got a couple more breaths in this pose. Inhale, slowly take the head away from the mat and come back to sit on your heels. So finding yourself sitting upright, take a big breath here. And sigh it out through the mouth. All right, bring your feet to one side, extend your legs out in front of you, and we're gonna lie on our back. Have the blocks near you, ready to access. Bend your knees, heels a few inches behind your glutes. Inhale, lift the hips just a little bit, and then take your block and place it on the first height setting. So first height is the lowest height. We're gonna be in supported bridge. Now, if this isn't doing anything for you, you can take another block and place it underneath you, making sure that they're stacked well on top of each other. Now, if you want just a little bit more, lift your hips once more, and you can place the blocks on the third height, making sure to gently place yourself back on the blocks. And you don't want the blocks to wobble. So attempt this third position only if you can hold your hips high enough for you to find that special adjustment. Some teachers don't recommend this height just because it could be easy for you to fall out and then maybe hurt yourself. So I'm inviting students who are familiar with bridge pose to attempt this. You can let your arms fall down by your sides. And again, just begin to start the journey of getting to know this pose, really working on our low back here. Something we really need to stretch out, as we are often sitting down throughout the day. And so yin gets its name from a term in Chinese esoterics. So you may have heard of yin and yang, and so those are the two cosmic energies that make up the world around us. And so typically we can understand yin and yang as divine feminine and divine masculine energies. And so yin is really calling to us stretching those types of tissues that are yin-like in nature. So those are the fascia, the ligaments and tendons, the joint capsules, the ones that we stretch in colder, cooler environments like we do in yin class, because that's how we get to access them. Our muscles are very active and engaged, and when they're warmed up, they open us up. It's good to practice yin in the morning, or it's good to practice yin in cooler environments just so that we can really get in deep beneath the superficial tissue layers. And it's very necessary that we do so. We need stresses on all our tissues. But going back to Chinese esoterics and what I've learned from some of my teachers, spiritual teachers, is that, you know, you can really think of yin as embodiment and potential. And in yogic philosophy, some parallel concepts would be Shiva and Shakti. And so I'm sharing all this with you because it's hopefully it's of interest for you. Also distracting you from counting down the time we're in this pose. And I don't know about you, but I find that I naturally just end up closing my eyes when I'm in a yin class. I don't even realize that I'm doing it. And so I invite you, if it feels good, for you to also begin to close your eyes. Hopefully we both won't fall asleep in this position. And for this last few seconds here, you can also extend your legs as well. So instead of planting your feet on the floor, just letting go completely. Two more deep breaths here. Slowly, if you've extended your legs, plant them back on the floor. Lift your hips just a little bit of a scooch so you can move the blocks off to the sides. Well done. Oof. Maybe heel toe your feet to the width of your mat and just knock your knees in. And maybe do a few windshield wipes. So one knee in, the other knee out. Just a few times. Okay. Bring your knees in towards your chest. Maybe rock a few times with your hands behind your thighs. And then roll up to seated at the top of the mat. We're going to sit in between our heels. So hips are in between our heels. Sitting upright here, if this is a lot for you, you can turn out the knees, however wide you need them. And then we're going to begin to walk our hands to the back of the room. Now see how this feels. If this checks out, if you're feeling a lot, you can stay up here in saddle pose, or you can begin to place one forearm on the floor and then the other. And if you are familiar with saddle pose, also known as reclining hero in other styles of yoga, you can begin to bring the elbows closer towards your heels, so it gives you more room to place the back of the head on the floor. From here, we're just gonna breathe into the sensations that we might be feeling in our body. You can let the arms rest here or reach them overhead. And again, grasp the opposite elbows. So with each inhale, fill your lungs with air, puffing up the heart, and as you exhale, just let the belly fall. And just start to notice where you might be feeling anything, maybe in your knees, maybe in your hips, maybe in the low back, or maybe somewhere else. If you have any sharp sensations, please move out of this pose. Just come up to more elevated position, more of a starting position. Sometimes it's hard for us to stay still. We constantly want to move, and that's why this yin practice is so important for us. Our days are made up with activity and that type of yang energy. And we forget to be yin. We forget to have times of the day that is dedicated to yin energy, which is a little bit more cooler, a little bit more still, a time of potential. And it's really needed because we don't have it regularly in our lives. I think that when we do, we find ourselves uncomfortable, but this is the practice too, the practice of being present and knowing that we can react simply by being present and not having to change anything, and building resiliency that way in our body, in our mind, and in our emotions. It's really easy for us to fidget, to just move a little bit, to think millions of thoughts as we sit here, maybe planning out the rest of our day. Each day is different, right? So honoring that and respecting that. Not giving yourself a hard time either if it's hard, to untrain ourselves of these habits that we've ingrained, that we've been taught. A few more deep breaths here. breath is so important in all the yogas that we do. Helping us to self-regulate, tap into our nervous system. The breath is really the hack, an ancient hack. Slowly, you can release your elbows if you have them. Place the elbow points back on the floor, grip your heels, and one elbow at a time, lifting yourself up. And lift your hips and just move your feet to one side. And extend your legs out straight in front of you, and maybe just shake them out. Shake them out in front of the mat. All right, and then we're gonna come and lie on our belly. We're gonna come into Sphinx pose, so forearms and palms on the floor. You can stay here, or you can take that same block, you can place it right where your forehead would be, and then grab onto your opposite elbows and just place the forehead on top of the block on its highest height. So we're gonna be in these poses for a while. At first, it may not feel like anything, but start to get all these little sensations waking up. So you decide what you need, and that's gonna change. So really honoring and respecting what the body has to say to you, just starting to build a deeper relationship and connection with the body. We can be so disconnected from it, thinking that the mind has to have domain over what our body can do. And we try to force it sometimes into these shapes that don't really work for us, and we don't know until maybe the day after. And our lifestyle as well has an impact too. And then it could just be the last straw, it could just be the tipping points. In the space that we're creating for ourselves, we're really creating a safe container to be able to experiment and know ourselves just a little bit better. And this is why I always go back to my yoga practice. All the different limbs of yoga, I always go back to my asana. It's been with me since I was a teenager. Place one palm underneath where your shoulder would be, and then take the other palm, place it right underneath your shoulder, and straighten your elbows for seal pose. If you're already feeling a lot in Sphinx, you can please ignore me. And this is our little bit of a final transition in this pose here before we move on. You can let your head drop, almost tucking the chin. See how that feels. Or maybe you want to lift the head back. And if this is okay, you can also bend your knees as though you're going to point the toes towards the head. Right now, we're not really focused on getting the toes to touch the head, because then we might be engaging some of our muscles. We're just trying to get into our low back here. Opening up the throat as well, but really just surrendering. making that surrender a choice. In this yoga, it's not about how we look, but about how we feel. And I learned this phrase in Yin yoga, but it's so applicable to all styles of yoga, even though sometimes it might feel like it doesn't. But I truly believe that in vinyasa as well, the internal work is what we're really after. A few more breaths. And slowly straighten your legs, bring your neck back to neutral. And you can slowly begin to bend your elbows, lying back down on the floor, palms in the center of your mat. You can place the right cheek on top of the palms, on top of the hands, and then just bend the left leg. Bend the left knee. A little bit of a counter pose, counter twist. A little break for our spine here. Slowly extend the left leg straight on your mat. Turn the left, turn to the right, bend the right knee. So in this Yin yoga, there are going to be periods of silence and stillness, and so this practice is really allowing you the opportunity to be in the stillness and start to listen to the inner teacher inside of you. Straighten the right knee. Lift yourself off. We'll do a little bit of a side twist before we finish off today's class. So extend the legs wide. Bring the right foot to the inside of the left thigh, just so it's comfortable and out of the way. You can take your blanket if you have it, and you just place it over that right thigh, just so you feel a little bit more warm if you need to. Yin yoga is a cooling practice, but you know, sometimes it can get very cold. I also don't turn on the temperature in this room, which is probably why. But yeah, blanket or no blanket, take one of your blocks, place it on the lowest setting or a little bit higher. I'm gonna let you decide. I'm gonna place it on the lowest setting to start. I'm going to just place my left elbow on the block and cut my face with the left hand. Inhale, reach the right arm up, and as you exhale, reach it over to the left side of the room. Then you're just gonna bend the right elbow and place the hand on the back of the head. We're in a side twist here, and holding the head is just so that it's less awkward for our top arm. We're a little bit more supported. So really think about opening the chest, getting that side stretch on the right side of the body, but also creating some sensations with our top arm as well. Just noticing now where you're finding any resistance, any sensations in the body. And just breathing into those areas, breathing in to where there are areas of tension and holding. Just breathing each purifying breath to say, I acknowledge you, I recognize you, I see you. And just letting it be, letting it go. With this practice too, it's teaching us many things, and there are so many benefits to it. For example, if you do like something that's more active, know that incorporating yin will help you be better at your active practice, active physical practice. Helping us play with our edge and depth in a different way. Slowly inhale, reach that right arm to the left, reach it to the center, and inhale back to center. So just step by step, returning from whence we came. Now we're gonna do the second set, so extend the right leg out, bend the left knee, and again, reposition. Nice cozy blanket if you have it. Again, now every side is different, so you could decide you want a higher height this time or a lower height. You decide. Right elbow on the block, cup your hand, inhale, left arm up, exhale over to the right, and then just place the left palm on the back of the head. So again, think about bringing the left elbow back to the top of the sky if that feels good, if you need a little bit more. Relax your toes. Listening to the song of your breath. How are the notes? Are they relaxed? Are they soft? Is it worried? Is it tense? Can you even hear it at all? Listening and tuning into our prana, our life force. And in Chinese esoterics, it's called qi. And when I say that, I don't mean that they are word for word, literal translation in terms of concepts. They're quite different from each other. There are distinct differences between prana and qi, but sometimes it helps to sort of associate and find the similarities and commonalities without erasing the differences that make them unique. How does this side feel compared to the other side? Is it a little bit more stiffer, a little bit more loose? Very interesting. Whatever your body tells you, just store away that knowledge. Keep it filed away. few more deep breaths. Inhale, reach that left arm to the right, then back up top, and slowly coming back to center. So we'll do one last stretch before we come into our Shavasana. So coming to lie on your back again. You can just plant the feet on the floor and scooch the hips over to the left and bring the knees over to the right side. Reach the arms in opposite directions and straighten the bottom leg. And if you'd like, you could also straighten the top leg as well. And I have to move back because I'm gonna kick my wall. So looking over the left shoulder, you can also bend the bottom knee and grab onto the bottom foot. For one final little quad stretch element here. And then also getting into the fascias casing the quad. And this pose is called cat grabbing its tail. And yes, the headband is in honor of this. No, I just like wearing the headband. Spinal twists are just feel so good at the end of class, right? It's a nice way just to kind of bring everything back together before we go offline, before we go into our wonderful Shavasana. Slowly you can release that bottom foot. Oops, sorry, block. Extend the bottom leg down and then readjust your hips to center. And then bring your knees over to the left side, looking over the right shoulder. And again, you can extend the bottom leg straight. Maybe extend the top leg as well, but you can always keep it bent too. And if you grabbed your tail on the other side, grab it this side too. So again, bend the bottom knee, bring your foot close towards your glute so you can grab it with your hands. Looking over the right shoulder or just even closing your eyes. Loose grip with that foot. The final few moments here. So honor your breath, honor your body, honor your spirit, and send some of that care to someone else you know. Slowly straighten that top leg, coming back to readjust yourself to center. Now you can take that blanket and put it over yourself in preparation for Shavasana. Take as long as of a Shavasana as you'd like, 5 to 10 minutes long. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope to see you soon.